do a backup here, recording. Says it's going. Oh, we might be on here live.
Oh, yeah, looks like you're staying on even though it's closed. Okay,
It's working off of that.
okay,
I just want to make sure it was working.
okay.
I think we're working, but go ahead if you don't mind. Just, we'll double it, just to make sure we're on the right path. Where's everybody? Here? Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Terrific.
Ready for the next 2 weeks, the heat? All right, I'd like to call to order the July 19th, 2025 Wind Valley Lakes Board of Directors meeting. Roll call of directors,
Wayne Scott.
Julie Miller-Childs,
Dennis Keegan?
Dan Coleman.
and Terry Barnhart is not here today. Is there anybody new here today? Approval of the June 21st, 2025 Board of Directors regular meeting minutes.
My
I'd like to make a motion.
motion that we approve those meeting minutes.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see here, okay.
Wait, so you might say we're doing this, but it is on YouTube.
We are recording this on Pam's phone, live,
It's on our
and
Lynn Valley
it's on our
Lakes
Lynn Valley Lakes website,
Facebook
Facebook
page.
page. And then on the website, there's a link to, YouTube, and hopefully you'll find it, and it's working today. Let us know if you have any problems, if you go back to watch it, or if anybody who's watching it, let us know if you have problems. It's been a busy month. We continue to try to make improvements. We have some new vents in bathhouse two, and we have additional fans and vents going in all the bathhouses to try to suck some of that heat and moisture out so that it's not so damp inside. We're continuing to review the bathhouses and determine what we want to do as far as floors, paint, fixtures, and we'll move forward once we've, kind of made an idea or just got an idea or decision on that. Work was done to the volleyball court. We're waiting, or we got yesterday sand in, so that should be finished this week, and hopefully the beach is all fixed up and ready by the end of this week as well. We've opened the office back up on all weekdays and Saturdays, and right now we're also working on supporting the deck here on the clubhouse and the deck at the pro shop. Regarding my statement last month about the RVs on the build lots, when that decision was made, I posted on the website the city ordinance. There was some confusion about that. Evidently, they felt that we changed the covenants or we changed the bylaws. All we're doing is we're working with the city, and we are supporting their city ordinance right now. We're allowing the RVs on the build lots that do not have residences. This does not affect anybody in the multi-purpose or the camping lots. If you're seeing more than one camper on a property, if you're seeing campers that have been sitting on build lots and they're not being maintained or they need grass cut, definitely contact the city because that's an ordinance code. As Pam stated last month, we're dealing with issues that we will not be renewed. Some of our insurance may not be renewed by the current company. We've also been told more than likely our rates are going to be rising. We've been working with our broker to explore all options that are available to us. And we're also going to work with them to improve safety issues here, things that they've seen that are not, that are substandard, that need to be repaired. And hopefully, once we get through their recommendations, we, down the road, will be able to get some better insurance premiums offered to us. Everything we can do to improve our facilities and avoid claims will eventually help us to bring those costs down. I have a long list of thank yous. I think everybody that we've worked hard this past month. We've had a lot of people involved. If I forget something, I sincerely apologize. There's just been so many people that have been helping us. First, the Water and Sewer Department. They, in the past month, have worked some very long days, long hours because of the truck breaking down. And I just want to thank them and thank the public for their patience till we got the truck back up and running, and for all the long hours that Water and Sewer worked to make sure that everybody got their water. There were some hiccups, but they were working some really long hours. I just can't stress this enough how important our volunteers have been this year. The Lake and Wildlife Committee, Doug Wilgren, Mike Johnson, Leanne Johnson, they have done so much work with the lakes, Dennis Coffin, buoys, Lake Patrol. Doug and Mike have worked tirelessly on the spillway, and I want to let them know they're very appreciated for everything that they do. The Real Estate Committee for interviewing attorneys so we can start placing liens on properties and foreclosing on them. For those of you that are watching, if you are 9 months past due on your assessments, you will get a warning at 12 months. We're gonna try to get those liens popped on those properties. So in the event that somebody wants to try to sell a property, they will have to pay their assessments. We're also in the process, anybody who's over 12 months past due right now, in addition to having the lien placed, they'll be sent to collections. You need to realize, once you're sent to collections, it's gonna be a 30% more charge. So, if you don't want that on your credit report, you don't want it to go to foreclosure, I strongly recommend getting those paid before they're 12 months past due. I wanna thank Joe Felco for getting the slips at the ramp ready for remodel and providing the bids for the materials. If you're willing to volunteer, please talk to Joe. Rhonda Keegan and the whole Finance Committee, for continuing to work on the QuickBooks system. It's still not there yet, but we keep getting closer. So they've worked a lot of hours, a lot of long hours, and I want to thank all of them. Lindsay Hammond's on the Rec Committee and the volunteers that helped her on the 4th of July event, which was actually on the 5th of July. She's looking for volunteers for upcoming events as well. Sean Boyd did contact me offering to get a bid for the beach project. We did have to put that on hold for now. We have other things that have come up that are going to take money to fix. So right now that may end up being a spring project. We are gonna go ahead and get the beach cleaned up and the volleyball court. But as far as any major remodel on this back area, that will more than likely be held off till next year. Kim Hirsch for training our pool girls on proper pool testing and helping me navigate the waters to find a good affordable solution to repair or replace the pool. Wayne Scott for all the volunteer work he's done while on the board, obtaining materials, waiting for delivery. He's gonna be looking for volunteers to help him in the near future with the mailbox shelter. I just want to make it clear again, I think I've said this at every meeting, our agenda is the same as yours. We want Lynn Valley to be as updated, clean, and fun as possible. And of course, this takes money, which is our assessments. I hope as the meeting continues, the picture of expenditures will be more clear as we continue. You're welcome to email us at any time with concerns you may have throughout the community, and we will listen. If you do see something that you think is a safety concern, if you could let us know that, we'd appreciate that as well. We don't know if we have all the answers or the cure to the problems, but we certainly can listen. Oh, also, our thoughts and prayers go out to Annette Hawkins. She had her spouse.
Kevin passed this morning at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
From a major stroke that he had earlier this week.
Please keep Annette in your prayers. Vice President, do you have anything to report?
Nothing other than what you just mentioned about thanking how many hundreds of hours the volunteers spend helping the community. It literally would not function like it does without those hundreds of hours that all the volunteers, contribute. So, that was it.
Spillway update?
Mike's not here, right? This is on.
No, push the button. I say no, but there's a glare I can't see.
Yeah, there it
Yeah,
is.
it's on. Okay, so, not much on the spillway. The state has waived the permit fee. We had paid one before and didn't proceed, and so they waived our current fee, so that's, that's helpful. I think it's like $1,200. The emergency action plan, which is how we would notify somebody downstream if our dam was in trouble. Don't plan on having that, but it'd be helpful to have all those numbers. Pam's working on the update of that. We need to submit that to the state before we get our permit turned in. And we're waiting on the final report from the engineering firm on how to harden the spillway so that if something like what's happened in Kerrville happened here, with just tons of rain, we didn't get erosion at the top of the spillway to impact the dam or even the spillways upstream of that. So that's it. We're just waiting on the engineer.
Treasurer's report, Terry's not here, but Rhonda from the finance committee will have a
Did you just skip managers?
lengthy, oh, sorry, I'm good at this. Pam,
That's okay.
I'm sorry. It was Terry last time.
Okay, so I have a list, so, I also have been working on the budget and the financials and shooting Rhonda and Terry 100 emails and, I know there's a lot more we need to look at on there and work on, so I know it sounds funny, but it's been kind of fun working with that stuff, so, because I wasn't involved in the budget preparation for this year, so. The compactor, we all know there was a mess on the 6th of July that lasted less than 24 hours, I wanna point that out. I have been in contact with the Public Works supervisor with Lynn County. He went to the commissioners and I was surprised they did approve for a driver to come out and change that out on the holiday, Labor Day weekend on Sunday morning, so I much appreciated the county commissioners approving that. After hours emergency phone status, we're gonna be looking at getting some phones for emergency contacts after hours. We wanna get with Julie, cause we wanna establish some guidelines, the time it's available, what constitutes an emergency. Jay Butler coming to the gate and he forgets his card, he can't get in, is that an emergency? We will be moving some picnic tables down to the beach area on the tier where the barbecue grills are. Hopefully we'll get that done this week. There was a question about the easement around the main lake. There is a 10-foot easement around the entire main lake, which means I have the right to go down there and walk along that area. The only issue is, how do I get down there? We have lake access points, you can use those. We have the boat ramp area, you could use that. I don't know, we had a gentleman contact us and he first was told by someone that he could, by a neighbor, and then the neighbor said, no, you can't go through our property to get there. So, there is personal property or private property to get down there, but there are lake access marks. The golf course on 4th of July, or it was actually the 5th of July. In the past, I've had employees ask if they could be responsible and sit down there so that others could sit down there and watch the fireworks. I did not have anyone available that could do that this year, so it didn't happen this year. I know there were several that were upset. I also heard, I didn't see it for myself because, of course, it was closed. I don't go down there. So next year, possibly we'll be able to make sure there's an employee down there, a responsible employee down there, who can sit down there and watch over people, because they do not stay off of the golf course. We cannot have people driving out onto the golf course. So, that's why it was not open. The, visitor side, or the left side of the entry gate, will be closed for about a month to allow the concrete to cure that's been put down. DH Pace will be out this coming Thursday to install the magnetic loop detector. That's why all of this had to happen, because the magnetic loop, it was installed in asphalt and it worked itself out and it was destroyed. So every Wednesday I meet with the supervisors and go over their week, any projects they're having or doing, any upcoming projects, the status of that type of thing, and I forward those notes that I take from those meetings to the board. The front gate was already on the list twice, so. And, the last thing, we've been having some issues, we have, most of our water and sewer truck drivers are new. They're not really familiar with the area. They do have maps, they have GPS. But not everyone has their lot number or 911 address on their property. There is a City of Lynn Valley ordinance that is a requirement. We may even start making a list and turning that over to the city, because I believe the city can ticket for that. I don't know if it.
Do we get those over City Hall?
The address? I believe the city of Lynn Valley does sell, the address placards. I'm not certain the price.
$15.
Is it 15? Maybe 20, who knows? Check with City Hall, and, they can let you know over there. Other than that, we have purchased some white marking pens, and Julie suggested that we ask if people would like us to write that on there, but I'm thinking we should just write that on there,
What we'd like is on the cap to your water and sewer,
like your lot
to
number.
write lot
Well,
2036.
To write the word sewer or water, and then your address and lot number. That way, when they go to pull that cap, they know exactly that's what's on their list.
An
They're
S
pulling what
or a
they should.
W. Yeah. And the lot number. Yeah. But anyway, we do have the white marking pens. I did get those in, so.
Can you tell us what our tickets should look like when we hand them in?
When you turn in your ticket, and I'll post it again on our Facebook page, you should write your name, your lot number, and your 911 address. Some people write a lot number, some people write their 911, so whoever's processing the tickets, we have to take time to do the research and find out. Also, if you know that you get water all the time, but whoever's processing the tickets may not know that you get just water all the time, put 1,000 water, 1,000 sewer, or 2,000 water, 2,000 sewer. And because every bit of information that you put on that ticket is helpful to whoever's processing the tickets. Okay,
Thank you.
anything else?
I think that's
Am
it.
I forgetting anything?
I think we covered most of it.
Can I say something? As the newest board member, the thing I'm learning this last month is that's a lot. And what they're asking is just, as a community, like I've said this, I love what I'm seeing. I love that we're starting to come together as a community. And I'm asking, help me to help you, help us to help you. And every little bit's gonna help to straighten out the mishaps, the misinformation, and the transparency. What everybody in here wants is they wanna know what's going on, where their money's going, all of it. So if that can make we'll call them the newbies, the driver, if that can make maintenance's job easier to where there's no more mishaps about sewer being pumped here, or water being there, or to the wrong neighbors. If everybody can just
Help us.
help, There you go, in capital letters. Thank you.
Yes.
Those tickets that you're talking about, are they a form up at the office, or what are the tickets?
They're receipt books, however, we are working with Margine on a form that we would make public on the website, pick it up, that will give us every piece of information we need. And then what our goal is to switch, when we get these forms where we think they're gonna work great and help Margine and help the drivers, then we'll get them distributed to the public. But right now, they're receipt books
The free form kind of thing.
that,
You
yeah.
can purchase them through the office for $2, or you can purchase them at Walmart.
Okay.
It's just a numbered ticket, and that way
Okay.
we can, that helps us keep track of information also. Thank you.
Not to bring up a sore topic, but is it the plan down the road to try to get all that online? Right?
Yes.
Yes, we are
Make sure they hear that.
diligently working. We, of course, the first priority is gonna be able to get through the financials, to get through the billing, to get through all the addresses and lot numbers, make sure all that's good on the system. Once that's good on the system, then we're hoping to explore other options to, get everything online. And everything as far as booking, even as far as booking cabins, booking RVs, whatever, to get it online.
Okay, I do have one more thing. I know mailbox is under the deferred maintenance, but what's the timeline on the,
Right now, so the update on the mailbox, we have put in for the permit, we do have a new building inspector. So he's part-time, but we do have a full-time guy that he is training and watching over. So that is happening, and we have to do, even though we're POA, we still have to do the permits like everybody else. So there's no freebies anywhere. I did mark out the
Actually, there is. They did not charge us for that permit,
We have to get a permit, but we
they're
don't
not
have to pay.
charging.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that we did have to
now
do
that
it,
you said
and it is a good thing that it's getting inspected because of prior years with up there, the shelter we had up there for the mailboxes, there were no piers underneath the posts, so it was not structurally sound anyway. So this time, we're gonna make sure that we are down to freeze line, we're up to code, and time-wise, as soon as we get, if you go up there, you can see, I've already marked out the new piers, I've already scored them with my grinder to where the piers are gonna go, so feel free to go check it out, but it's in the process, we just gotta wait for them to approve the permit and the whole process, then once I dig them, so I'll gladly take any volunteers that wanna help dig piers, Dan. So, anyway, come run some jobbers, but we can't use anything because there's fiber optic up there, I was informed. So we're gonna hand dig them, so it's gonna be a process, so if we got any willing participants, come sweat. But it is under process, we're just waiting for them to approve the permit. Once that, we're gonna have material dropped. We've already got the material list already up to par, it's ready to go, we just gotta get approved by the city for the permit. But that's the update, as soon as that kicks in, mailboxes will be underway. We'll
okay,
start it.
the reason I was asking was we are out of mailboxes. And so I do have to get a mailbox cluster ordered. But if we don't have, in the timing, do we need to go ahead and
Yes,
mount
go
it
ahead.
down at the shelter house?
How long does it take to get it in?
Probably 7 to 10 days.
I would say go ahead and order it, and then
I
when
mean,
it gets here,
But
let's
it's the install part of
decide.
it, that's what we're gonna need to
decide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know and we'll make a decision on,
When it
You
gets
know,
here.
if we can have a few less
Yeah,
screw holes in the shelter
Yeah.
house floor.
yeah.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Question, is there any expansion space in the new facility?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
a
It-
lot.
The new structure is gonna go right outside, like I said, feel free to go up there and look. But you can see where the outside, and then we'll have a 1-foot overhang. So it's almost to where those railroad ties are. We're closing off that drive-through area. So the structure's going from the beginning of the pad all the way almost to the retaining wall, those So it's basically 1,500 square feet of mailbox space is what, from where we had 1,000, pretty much we're moving up to 1,500 square feet. So it'll be a nice structure and, so,
With room for expansion.
with room
And
for expansion.
there will not be a driveway that goes behind it,
Right.
a drive lane behind it anymore.
Did we ever come, sorry, Mark. No, you go ahead. Did we ever, I know we had talked about, is it the 16th lots, or the mailboxes are physically tied to an address due to an agreement between whoever and the post office? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know anything about that?
Do what?
And how many is that?
I
There's
think
some
what he's asking
mailboxes.
about were mailboxes that were tied to a camper lot and no, there's not a camper there anymore, reassigning those boxes, and I think you had said that the post office was like, we're not reassigning those.
Right,
So they're just sitting kind of in empty.
yeah. I mean, several years ago, they did get us a list of everyone that had a mailbox up there. I mean, and we even told them that there's no one that lives there, there's nothing there, because they used to just give anybody a mailbox. But then that's when they established that, you have to at least have a sewer tank in the ground.
Yes.
On those mailboxes, the new ones going in, did you guys, is there anything like for like Amazon or UPS or FedEx?
Well, we're just moving the mailboxes that we have from the shelter house up. To purchase new mailboxes would cost us probably 200,000. I mean, it would be off the charts.
But
So
have you
what
guys
we
considered-
have down at the shelter house right now, that's what will be up in the new mailbox shelter.
But have you guys like reached out to Amazon, see if they'll supply them, because it's kinda in everybody's best interest for them not to travel so much, get in the possibility of an accident and all the wear and tear on the roads. It's just worth looking into.
How do those work, John?
I'm not really sure, I've seen like at Quick Trip and others, but you have like a code on your phone, you scan it, then it opens up, you get the
So,
package.
yeah, we can certainly contact
Yes.
Amazon and see if they're
Well,
willing to
see
put
if
it in.
it's
We will have
within
room.
the bill because it's their
Right.
product, their logo, so.
Right.
it's
We-
worth looking
Well,
into.
We would
it
have
wouldn't
room
be
to
for
do
the
it, so-
mailboxes, though.
Yeah.
Well-
They would just be packages.
Right.
It'd be its own
Right.
separate
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I did get that brought up, I can't, and I totally spaced that off, but I did get one homeowner asked me about, like, when we do the mailbox, about that center area or section in there, about being able to enclose a room, that's, you know what I mean, so that, like you're talking, Johnny, about having a code to where you could check.
Well, but
your
these are
package.
regular they're like a locker, like at Home
That's what-
Depot or whatever.
That's what
So they would
I'm talking about.
require power and Wi-Fi, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
I would assume, yeah.
Well, I can check into that.
Yeah, we can
But
find
that's
out.
what, they were mentioning about having an area for secured packages.
Travel through the whole thing
I would think Amazon would want it.
Right.
Save them a lot of money
in time.
and time, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, treasurer's report, as I said, Rhonda will be coming up on the finance committee and she will, talk about our finances. Architectural Control Committee, Dennis Coffin is not here. However, we've had 133 total permits as of July 8th. The last 5 permits received, 2 were electric, 1 was culvert, 1 was roof, 1 was fence. And it was not approved because there was not a site plan included. So, just to keep in mind that, make sure your applications are completely filled out.
The site plan has been
Site
turned
plan.
in.
Oh, great, good, perfect. Golf. You wanna-
Okay. Last month when I was here, we were right in the middle of the youth camp. That turned out to be quite a success. I want to say a couple things really quick. Katie and the Pro Shop staff did a fabulous job supporting that. TC's supported all the food, so fed the kids lunch for both days. We had 40 to 50 kids across the 2 days that came out, and a lot of volunteers, a dozen or so really good golfers, which was why I was here and they were there. But some really good golfers that came out and helped the kids learn. So it's just part of building up use of the golf course and letting people in the community kind of continue, or expanding the population of people in the community using it. So next big event, You can tell the big cup is coming because it's supposed to be 100 degrees next weekend. It's always on the hottest day of the year.
That needs to be scheduled when it's cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
Yeah,
Andrew,
it does.
Andrew, your superintendents will appreciate that.
Yes, actually, there is a discussion about having a second big cup tournament in September, so. Normally, we have a morning and an evening, or an afternoon flight, and this year we're just doing a morning flight. So, hopefully, we can get that run too. Katie also shared course play is about the same as last year, about 6,000 rounds year to date. That doesn't sound like an improvement, except it was really cold in January and February this year, and it was really warm last year, so we were about 500 rounds behind by the 1st of March, so that's caught up, and we're getting good play on it. Really quick, just to let people know, there are now like 5 leagues running. There's probably over 100 people playing in the league. Some people playing in multiple leagues. So it's, you know, if you add it all up, it's probably more than that. But in each league. But there's 5 leagues really running regularly now. It's just, again, it increases play on the course. And the last thing is just, you know, Andrew and the grounds crew, they've done a fabulous job. If you've been out on the golf course, it looks great. The men's senior league played down at Sugar Valley last week. Sugar Valley's been pretty much closed for the last couple of years in terms, and we play a reciprocal tournament with the senior league there. They've played all their rounds up here the last couple of years. They had their greens killed off and had to recover those. Our course looks great. So it was fun to go and play, but our course looks really great compared. So, okay.
Thank you. Lindsay Hammonds is not here. 4th of July, she said, is very successful. They had 55 kids in the kids tournament, 45 at the kids crafts. Said bingo was packed along with the parade. She did not keep track of how many participants were actually in the parade. Upcoming is a poker run put on by Heather and Tina on July 26th. Keep up to date on Facebook, and of course she's looking for volunteers for the October Fall Festival. Get in touch with her if you're interested in volunteering on that. Also in September, she's looking for volunteers to help organize the barn up front. She does not have an exact date on that, but she's saying probably mid-September. As a footnote, the softball tournament has been canceled. The reasoning behind that is because there will be a lot of people playing from outside of the community. We checked in on getting some liability insurance for the 2 days. Liability insurance for the 2 days was about $2,000. So until we get some more clarification on what constitutes or what we need to do as far as insurance for something like that, we are going to postpone it or possibly maybe put something in the budget for next year so that we can hold a tournament. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a great community weekend. You know, maybe even make it bigger than what it was planned, have some food trucks, have, you know, just have a big softball party.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna continue with the field so the kids can still have it and everybody, so it's not gonna stay up there just dirt drawn up. So I'm still trying to find somebody to either an aerator or something to help till the ground up so I can drag it so that at least it can still be used if the local kids or if anybody wants to go up there and practice whatever. I wanna finish what I started, so it's just finding a way to, I don't have the right equipment to, so if anybody has something that can till up the dirt and wants to donate their time to do it, well, I would gladly accept it, and then I'll take care of dragging it. But Jay had offered to bring his commercial mower up there out of the goodness of his heart to mow back 400 feet for the field to help knock it down and maintain it, and I don't have the equipment to till up the ground, so if anybody has any suggestions, please reach out to me. If not, I'll figure it out. So, but I am gonna finish the field that way, because we already have bases ordered, chalk lines, so worst case scenario, I wanna get it up running for the community that way. go up, hit balls around, or kids can go up there and practice for their leagues?
Our plans are to eventually take the softball bases, or baseball bases, putt golf clubs, horseshoes, all that stuff, and put it in the guard shack. We had some discussion about if we're going to charge a refundable amount of money for having, leasing this, a deposit for leasing this stuff up. But the problem we have is at the golf course, we get coolers, people take the coolers out, they never bring them back. So, we're trying to figure out a way where we can, let community members take this stuff out and use it, but get it back to us, so that we're not having to replace bases and horseshoes and everything else, every 6 months. So that's our goal, is to get the fun stuff put up in the guard shack so the guard shack can help.
Okay. Jay?
Just a question on, and again, I understand the insurance deal, but just out in the field and, really anything that we have in here, members and guests, they could be organizing a game up there. Is it, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of is like, 'cause that field's gonna get used when it gets done, and we can go up there and play. I'm not challenging it, again, the decision's made, but just understanding, 'cause anything, right? The putt, you come in, you bring in guests and stuff, and you're down here, you go on it. We got liability, right? That's
Exactly.
everywhere we go.
Right.
So I was just curious what the, we just expected that much more, or is it because it's a tournament?
Well,
Because if it's an order.
And
we're gonna have to get into a huge discussion with insurance with our attorney. I've got a note to call, to talk to
That's
him
fine.
to say
That's
what,
enough said.
if you sign a waiver
Yeah,
saying you're
sure.
not holding Lynn Valley Lakes,
I get it.
responsible if something happens, and you're not holding the person
Right.
doing the tournament or whatever. This, in my opinion, the way I look at it is, this could be for the poker run, this could be for the golf course, this could be, we've been doing this all for years, and now we're gonna, let's face it, 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have to worry about everybody being sue happy. Unfortunately, that's the way our society is now. So, how far do we have to go to protect ourselves? I don't want to stop anything in Lynn Valley, but how far do we have to go to protect ourselves? Is there a possibility maybe some of our liability insurance could be increased to cover the tournaments, the poker run, to me, it's just about like the golf course. Somebody has a turn at the
Right.
golf course and gets
Right.
hit in the head with a golf ball. So we just have
So,
to
yeah,
really
we're working
explore
through.
this.
No, that's why I was asking, because again, we have all these things and they're used by members and.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we do need to kind of explore this a little bit more.
Just history perspective, I was involved in the insurance last year when it doubled, and the change in carriers, the underwriting process was, how big is your community, how many miles of roads do you have, what is your calendar of events, what's the attendance at the calendar events, and so we provided all of that for the underwriting purposes. And so normal play on the golf course, the amenities that we have, the swim dock, the things like that, were all taken into the underwriting. Developing a ball field, because that was really a heliport,
Yeah.
No,
It's always been a
the
ball field.
Well,
heliport's,
it's got
the
back
heliport's
stuff.
on the other side of the
Yeah.
backstop.
Okay.
That is a ball field.
Fence was originally put up as a ball field. That's what I was told
History
at
of-
the time. We
history
never
of-
listed a ball field.
History of that backstop. It used to sit over close to the power plant.
Okay.
A gentleman who lived here, the power plant decided to take it down. He thought it would be a good idea to put it up there. He put it up there, and that's all that happened.
Okay.
How long
We
ago
did
was
not
that?
list
A
the ball
long
field there.
time ago. Probably back in the early 90s.
Yeah, if that had been listed and they thought, softball tournament, 20 games is a $2,000 expense, it would have been into the liability, but the liability doubled in cost just getting to the new carrier. And don't know whether liability's at risk this year or not, but across the industry, it's going up again. So, that's the major component of increase. Our auto was
That will be different this year.
Liability will be canceled.
Our
because of
casualty
lawsuits.
will go up this year.
I get it, I mean, again, it's a ball field.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But they
It's a
they
baseball
assessed that
backstop.
premium based on our activity schedule, and we didn't have something like that on the schedule.
Yeah.
So we will
But we'll still be able to use it.
investigate.
Yes.
I mean,
Members.
yeah.
Got it.
Not to keep holding everything up, but, so the fees or whatever that was gonna cost to get these softball teams in, did any of that go towards the liability insurance, or is that a possibility? It's just a question.
We wouldn't,
I'm sure we wanna move on.
yeah, I
but it's
mean,
just a
we
question.
were, what we were doing is actually Wayne was doing, and it was a charity fundraiser. It really wasn't a POA event.
It was
As much
for-
as I'd like it to eventually be maybe as a fundraiser, I mean,
Yeah, well,
but,
Michelle had first stages of breast cancer and basically lost her job, and half the money was gonna go to her, and then I was gonna donate half of it back to the rec committee, and some of it was gonna use to buy bats and more softballs, and basically, everything was gonna be very transparent where it was. Michelle was gonna be up there when we presented her with her portion of the entry fee, and we're still gonna have softball tournament,
Well,
just
it's not
don't
a
know
bad
when.
idea to maybe get a portion of it and maybe apply towards the liability insurance next year, if that's something
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna collect
to
money.
include
Right,
that
to
in the thought
offset it a little
process on
bit,
what it costs,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and the last thing I wanna do is, you know, I don't want it to cost us as citizens any more than what it is, and and we're gonna check options about seeing if everybody signs waivers, if that's efficient enough, cause if so, then I'm still shooting for August 23rd and 24th, cause I had to bump it back, because like I said, I'm having problems finding the right equipment to till up the ground to be able to get it to where nobody's taking a ball to the face of, you know, a ball hop or something knocking. I mean, we all know how fast people, if you haven't seen videos of people getting hit in the face with a ball, it's terrible.
Okay,
So, anyway,
finance committee.
Okay. No, I had already skipped by that on my sheet, sorry.
Oh,
All right. Thank you. You can see where my priority is on this list. There you go.
Welcome to the club.
So first, I know we've talked a lot about volunteers today, but I do want to just acknowledge some people. As you all know, Robin Phillips, is no longer with the office, but I do want to acknowledge that she did help out a great deal as a volunteer before she took that position, and she did help us to, get to the place we are today, and I think that brought in some great people along the way, so I think that's all very much appreciated, and I wanted to acknowledge that. On the Finance Committee, I wanted to let you know Pam Sanchez spent hours and hours helping with our reconciliation and went through the first 6 months of the year just to help us identify what we needed to address. So I want to thank her for that. And Dale Ellis was also instrumental in kind of helping me look at where we are for financials and kind of look at from a 50,000-foot perspective where we might look at for the year end. And as Pam alluded, part of what Terry and Pam are working on with our leadership is to, for the first time, really get a detailed idea of where we're going to be in the next 6 months. So these are the people that are on the ground every day working that area, and they're contributing to reviewing what has happened in the first 6 months and then looking at what they anticipate as far as expenses and making sure that we're classifying this properly in our financials so that when we do try to look at trends in year to year, we can be accurate in terms of where we are and assessing, so that when our board wants to know, hey, how much money do we have? We've got these deferred maintenance items. Can we afford to do this, that, or the other? And we could have a better answer to that question. So that's really what we're working on. And I think this is probably the first time that we've really been able to drill in at a very granular level. And as Pam said, she's getting involved in a lot of detail, and I appreciate all the work that she's doing. So I just wanted to make that comment. I apologize on these attachments. We're gonna work on how we're gonna present financials. You can see that our profit and loss is quite extensive, and that is because in our new era of QuickBooks, we have tried to, be more detailed in terms of what we're actually, looking at in terms of revenues and how we're breaking those out. So if you look at, for instance, golf course, you're gonna see all the different revenue streams, and it's probably more than most of you want to see on a monthly basis. So I'm gonna try to come up with a format that you can follow and that will be a little more easy on the eyes to look at. But also, we can certainly post these out there, and if people want to, those of you who are into finance or you really wanna dig into a particular area, you'll have that information available to you, because this kind of makes your head wanna spin. And when I apologize, when I gave these out for printing, somehow it left off the bottom line. So that's kind of the thing that everybody wants to know, right? So I do want to just, on the area, I think this one is probably the most succinct, where you look at the page that has June year-to-date 2025 versus 2024. That's probably a little easier on the eyes to look at. And the bottom line, so that you all can know this, if you looked at 2024, our profit, after looking at the income of $2,150,000 and expenses of $1,143,000 was $1,649,300. If we look at 2025, we've got a income of 2.1, we've got expenses of 1.2, and right now we're looking at profit of 874,000. So again, we're a business where a lot of our activity happens right now, right? So from, April to October, or September, that's when a lot of expenses are incurred. So we're really looking at the accrual of expenses, how we do that, so that we can understand what we're anticipating for the remainder of the year. So when we have to make decisions mid-year, we understand exactly where we think we're going to be. One thing I did want to point out when you were talking about the golf course, Ron, is in looking last year at what was presented for June year-to-date, for our golf course and pro shop combined, so this was our revenue and our expense stream, we were at a loss of $110,000. This year, and as you mentioned, we have not really gained a lot in revenue yet, and I think we're gonna see that maybe happen. We'll start to gain on that as the year progresses, assuming we don't have a lot of flooding or reasons that we can't play. But we're at $19,000 loss. And while, you might be saying, well, that's still a loss, but that's a difference of $110,000 to $19,000. And I will equate a lot of that to Andrew and his ability to manage expenses and understand where his expenses are. A lot of that is the management, and so kudos, right? So I think we're gonna see some pretty exciting results by the end of the year. So I just wanted to point that out. There's always a ray of sunshine somewhere, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody has any specific questions, but really this is kind of looking at where we are. And if we do look at that cash on hand, we do have more cash on hand right now because we ended the year with some surplus of funds. And so we have to take that all into account when we talk about where we are. For the year, we're probably gonna end up pretty flat in terms of our revenue and our expenses, but we do have that cushion of what we came in with for cash on hand. And so obviously, as Julie pointed out, we have a contingency fund, but that does play into where we sit today. I can't end my report without talking about receivables because that's an important part. We sent out statements in June to everybody that had any balance to let them know that if they did have balances for 2024, we'll be turning those over mid-July to our collection agency. That has not been done yet. It will be looked at next week to determine who those are. But we do have 207 lots that are owing for 2024 that are going to go to collection. So if you are one of those people and you can get us your money first of the week, you can avoid a 30% penalty to do that. So I apologize to the office staff in advance if this creates an avalanche, but if we can get that money in, it's critical. We only have $468 per lot owner, and my husband always says that's how much a day?
$1.28.
$1.28 a day. So for $1.28 a day, we have a lot of stuff to do, and we could not do it without all the volunteer hours that we have. I would love to be able to give you a financial number on that. But if you can do anything for us, keep your dues current. Please, pay your dues. that will help us in trying to plan where we can be. So, any other, yeah,
I got a question, on the water and sewer on that.
Yes.
Where our current rates are.
Mm-hmm.
Are they covering themselves, or how much are we supplementing that out of that?
I did take a look at that, and I can give you that answer. I would like to be, I've got it over there and I don't have it right here. We're still charging $35 for 1,000 gallons of water. It's been that since I think the first year I was here, and I think we made a $5 increase. My gut tells me we're not making any money, okay, so,
Sure.
we're not
Break
making
even.
any money.
That's where I'm at.
It's real difficult to try to take that water plant and the water sewer and all those things together, but I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that. I will make a point to make sure that we get that reported next month so you guys can see that more clearly. But you're right, I mean, we're kind of, I call it, what'd you say, Pam, limping along until we can get out of the water plant business, because obviously we're hoping once we get our tower operational and we no longer have to supply that, that's gonna be a whole different change as far as how our profit and loss works in this community, because think about everything that could change with that, so
Starting to take a big burden on
it-
it once it's big enough.
definitely will.
But I've always been intrigued that we're charging the same for water and sewer, because clearly there's no way.
Mhm.
What you gotta do with the waste, we're paying the city, right?
We are paying the
You know?
city
I mean, and
handsomely.
we're not pulling it off our
Mhm.
relay, even though we've got equipment down here, but anyhow, so.
It all
again,
costs-
That's an area that, you know, again, we all pay or not, I mean, I pay sewer to the city, but I still pay the POA for water.
As do I, so,
I've always just looked at that, and it was, I mean, what was it, 22 bucks, I mean, and you knew it that, but, I mean, I remember when, 7 years ago, I talked to a guy in Tanglewood, I think they charged $100 a pull. for
Yeah.
sewer.
yeah.
Anyhow, just
So,
curious.
yeah, I have it, it's the one thing that got, again, cut off on my thing, so it will,
Ready
it
to
is,
put- I
it
just
is in
put
there.
out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting statistic, and
Yeah.
again, I mean, if it ought to be 40, it ought to be 40.
Yeah.
Right,
It's-
I mean, you know, nobody wants an increase,
Yeah.
right, on anything.
So here's some things that we are looking at, and I do think that, I spent some time in the office while Brenda was out on vacation last week, and so I personally saw a lot of the activity that goes on, and I do wanna give kudos to our office staff, because they are in there working hard. A lot of times, the people that come into the office aren't there to tell them what a good job they're doing and how happy they are. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, they're dealing with a lot of things, and I've seen nothing but people just hunkering down and doing what they do. But we need to have automation in our community so that we can take off the burden. We may have a $3 million budget, but it is 1,000 cuts at a time. We're talking, you know, if you're processing $39 a month times what for every lot that comes in, and we have people that like to pay cash. I know people say cash is king, but that means somebody has to physically take all that cash to the bank. It's a lot easier for us to deal. If you can write a check, please. But if you wanna pay cash, we're not gonna turn you away, not gonna turn you away. But you know, it just creates all kinds of things for us to try to keep track of. We got 4 people with 4 cash drawers, and we're trying to make sure that everything balances out at the end of the day. It's just time. So, in answer to your question, we've got some exciting, I think, software options that we're looking at. Doug did a lot of great research last year, and he's just been quietly kind of holding on to all that information. But I'm excited to look at it. We're right in the throes of taking a good look at it to see what we can do to automate that water, sewer, all the requests coming in, so that people can really just go out to a portal and say, I want to open the gate, or I want to file a request, or I want to pay my bill. Those are what we're really looking at.
Yeah, I just want to second Jay's point about the rates, because there's a huge difference between I'll pay $35 when I need it and now paying 70-something to the city. And so if you were buying water before, it was $35 when you needed it versus 70 every month whether you used it or not. Same thing's gonna happen with sewer. You might have a camping lot or a house that you don't use very often and pump rarely out of that. When that goes to a monthly bill, that's a huge step up. And you're gonna put some people in the real hurts if they haven't seen that coming
Mhm.
and driven into that rate rather than a step change of $350
Right.
a year
Right.
to now, 800 or
Right.
something like that.
There is a lot of value in the $468 that you're paying, let me tell you that, because you're getting a lot of volunteer people that are volunteering their time, effort, and energy. And again, thank you, Kevin, for everything you're doing in bringing those volunteers, and really trying to work towards solution. Because if we did not have that time, and I'm sure Pam can attest to that, there's just a lot of things that, they're so busy, they don't have time to address some of the really future-looking things and how we can
Right.
relate to that. So they're integral in trying to understand what we need and how we go about doing it, but the time to go through and research all that. So, thank you, everybody that is volunteering. Yes,
I was just gonna say, I work with 2 volunteer groups, and, I saw a list, it's been a few years ago now, what states consider volunteer labor worth, and it was over $18 an hour, so volunteers,
so that's 36 today, right? Because everything's double.
it's,
Yes, that is right. So I would equate that to hundreds of thousands of dollars when we start talking about what our volunteers are adding back to the value of our community. So if you're not a volunteer, because you can't be, thank somebody that is, and if you want to be, make a phone call and we'll get you on the list. So thank you very much. Yes.
Real quick, when water comes in from the city, the monthly bill has not been established yet.
That's correct. That would not be for me, but,
That's true. You expect it to be less than 7?
I'm just,
Okay.
Okay, so you might repeat what he said because he was not on the mic.
Oh, okay. Richard said that the city has not established the monthly fee that will be set for getting water. I know Doug said something about $70. City has not established that's going to be the amount yet. It could obviously be higher or lower. So we're just gonna have to wait to see what the city decides to do, and what our monthly bill is gonna be.
And Rhonda, I apologize, we're missing a whole page.
okay.
I'm looking at what you
Well,
sent me, and for
I
some
would say-
reason it didn't print all
I-
the 3 pages.
Sure, I will say, go to the website, if you really are into that information, you'll be able to see it a lot better, and, we'll make sure that it's all viewable.
Right.
So, and I will work on, any
And
feedback,
maybe if we could turn it landscape,
yeah.
so that the print's larger
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah. It's so many pages, and
Right.
and I think that's where I need to sort of maybe condense it down to something that we can have a discussion about, but then provide maybe on the website the
Sure.
full financial picture.
Right.
Not that I don't wanna be transparent, but it's a lot of paper, guys and, gals, so if anybody ever wants to drill down into deep dive things, I'm always available after the meeting, or you give me a call, and I'll be happy to, we wanna be fully transparent, so I'll be happy to go over any of those things that you're looking for. I just don't wanna tax the average member with a lot of, with a lot of accounting, details that they may not wanna see, so.
Right.
I wanna say too, you talked to me about volunteers, and that is a big thing with me. But, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. But everybody needs to look around, anybody who's watching this at home or whatever. You guys are volunteering. You guys are volunteering. There's so many people that are volunteering at massive levels above and beyond what we're being asked to do to help Wayne and that type of thing. So, I'm just gonna say, because I know it's gonna be heard.
Kevin?
Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Kevin, did you paint the posts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Kevin, when you speak, would you come up here on the mic? So, so that the world can hear you,
Yeah, the wife
not
and
just
I-
us.
Yeah, I don't talk about it. The wife and I came down.
Thank you, we appreciate it. We noticed, that's the first thing I noticed when I walked down there to look at the sand, is that the posts look nice and white. So thank you.
Yeah, we didn't just paint them. I mean, we 80 gridded them and stripped them down.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's
We're
move
ready
on
for
to
volleyball.
lake management.
We are happy to have a new liaison, Wayne Scott, on this long list of activities. We've added a whole bunch more, and hope we get some help with the staffing, the lake patrol, and coordinating with the POA to to place riprap. I think you've seen the riprap down this stream bed that's gonna protect the beach. We'd like to do a similar kind of thing, not probably as intense, along our stream beds and spillways, just to continue to protect them. So we just need to work out the equipment part of that. We are working on updated fishing limits. The 2019 committee actually stocked the lakes and had some fish limits. The old signage said 2 per day. Don't know where that really came from, but that's not accurate. The committee's got a couple of disagreements around hybrid striped bass, and when we get that sorted out, we'll publish that on the Facebook page. We're working on riprap and silt fence, or working on riprap to protect the stream beds. We're asking the city to adopt a silt fencing ordinance. If you disturb soil on your property, you need to protect the downhill slope to keep that loose soil from washing off in a heavy rainstorm. So,
And I'll interrupt you for a minute. The city said that they believe there is an ordinance to that effect already, so we're checking into that. Hopefully we'll know something Monday night.
okay, so when we get that answer, if you've been subject to it flooding on your property, then go ahead and contact the city. But architecture we didn't find it, so good luck
Okay.
with that.
Thank you.
We are continuing our work to get an aeration system installed on Paddle Boat. If you take a look at a map, Basswood was plotted to go all the way to the lake. And there is no circle drive. Whatever the people that own those lots have put in their own drive and have marked it as private drive and typically park a vehicle on there, and that's okay. But the land map has an easement for that street all the way down to Paddle Boat. And so our intention is to mark that off with stakes, orange stakes for lake access, just like the orange signs for lake access. We'll mark that off and then pull a permit to drop a pad, electrical, and a small little fence, very similar to the unit that's on 10 acre, where it would have 10 bubblers out on the lake. We'll put the 10 bubblers up on Paddle Boat. And that's in our budget and capital, and we were supposed to bridge to next year, and I think we're gonna be able to pull some funds in to get it done. We've got a consultant in that installs them and a rep for the equipment, and so he's ready to go with that. We need to begin work on the permit with that. We are announcing an open fishing at Deer Trace, the irrigation pond down on the golf course. It's gonna be open fishing. We've worked with Andrew for that. It's on September 9th and 10th. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday. The course is being closed for greens maintenance those days, and so you can go down and fish. We're suggesting 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. as 2 time slots, but I don't think Andrew has a concern about being in there at other times. We can work that out, but that's the focused effort. Our intent is to capture the really monster bass that have been in that lake for a long time and not fished very heavily, and move them to the main lake. So I've seen 2 5-pound largemouths taken out of the lake this month, and people are pretty proud of them. And it's a fish about this big like that, and big hefty guy. A lot of fight to come in with that. So we've got good large predator fishing. We have very little bait fish in the lake, and so we've got an abundance of the smaller bass, and that's why we're changing the limits. We are working with the city to request a special use permit for a bow deer hunt this fall. Our intention is to do that over the hill from Ridgeline. It won't be by anybody's house, anybody's property, whatever else. The POA owns some farmland on that unbuildable hill down there that we'll put up 2 deer stands and permits out from the September to December archery season. So working with the state, they've said if you're a Kansas resident hunting in this special access use, you just need the hunter's license and deer tag. If you're an out-of-state resident, meaning your driver's license doesn't say Lynn Valley, Kansas on it, or Kansas on it, then you had to have participated in the lottery for an out-of-state resident. So maybe somebody did, maybe not, but we're trying to just promote this for members in good standing, Kansas residents, bow deer hunt, and good guidelines with that. So we're working with the city. We expect to submit that in early August and try to get approval by September from that. So
Is the state thinking of a number they'd like to see come out of here?
No, they've said they're increasing the number of tags in Lynn County next year for even the lottery and for the out-of-state lottery. They would love to see us take as many as we can. But it's, you know, they're issuing tags, it would be either sex, antlerless deer, antlered or antlerless deer. And it's a matter of how many tags you can have. You can only have one for an antlered. You can have, I think, up to 10 total tags. But I don't think we'll be able to pull that from here. But,
Are you gonna do a drawing for?
well, we're gonna have a skills contest for that, and based on your score and the skills, you get to pick your dates.
Okay,
But, yeah, it'll be very, I mean, it'd be very low-density hunting with bow, but you've got a season that runs from youth at September 6th to December 15th, or something like that. So there's, you know, 90 days, two spots, we'll have 180 slots for hunters, yeah.
To back up to the fishing at the golf course,
Yes.
could you repeat the proposed date?
Yeah, it's September 9th and 10th, Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 to 9 a.m. and 6 to 9 p.m.
And then, are children allowed with adult supervision?
Yes.
Hey Doug.
Yeah.
On the tags, what we were talking about, are you gonna try to impose that the does and, you know, as far as tags wise, before the bucks? Remember
Yeah,
we were
we're
talking
gonna
about that?
request, because it's our own special access permit, we can set our own additional rules, which means we can add the skills test, not required, we can require the education class, and we can ask that you shoot a doe before you shoot a buck. But the reality of that is that you're only issued one buck tag, and what sequence you shoot them in is really not something we can control. You just can't have two bucks.
Okay.
So we're gonna request the does. Yes?
How about update on erosion control between Paddle Boat and Main Lake?
The spillway is in poor shape there. That's our highest priority. We had brought the lake consultant in, we walked the entire property, and his biggest thing is you have too much exposed soil washing into your lake. The boat ramp area is a great example of it. It was torn up, it was left that way. It washed into the lake until Dennis went out there and put rocks and slowed it down. It's still dripping a little bit. That entire spillway is under poor conditions and deteriorating, and we're hoping that when we make decisions about the big spillway, we will include some funds to improve the smaller lake spillways as well. But the committee is walking those after our next meeting here. We've engaged Arn Eccles of Heartland Lake Management to talk with us about that approach. We're looking at rules about which trees to cut on the backside of the dam, because it's supposed to be clear, but there's so many, we won't get to them all. If you look at 5 Acre, there's a willow tree right in the middle of the spillway. If the big brush comes on through and rips that tree out, the spillway will fail. So, you know, it's a serious issue, and it's our most important priority and biggest deficiency in there. So yes, we're looking at it. Are you at the end down there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I really believe that the small 4 to 6 inch round yellow rock, and I paddled down there and looked at it when you reported that you had to go dredge it. I believe that came from uphill on Rosemarie, because they put that rock up on the hill, and when big rains came, it came in and washed, and where it piled was coming down the southern entrance to your property, not the eastern entrance. And I mean, if you look at that, that's almost a mile spillway from Paddle Boat, and it's, you know, 200 feet from that hillside. So the silt fencing would have helped stop that, is my opinion.
We're the second property.
Oh, you're a second, oh, all right, okay, that's fine, but that, it still seemed like that. You think you're getting silt or rock from Paddle Boat? Everything. Well, I was down there after this big heavy rain like that, and there was easily 2 feet of water coming over that little entrance place. So yes, anything up there, it's gonna wash, so.
Take your shoes off and walk in and do a sink up to your knees.
Okay, it's all, yeah, well, I'm on the other entrance on Party Cove that drains 30% of our area with no lake to catch any of it. And since I moved in here in 2022, we've lost a 1.5 feet off our dock. You know, we've gone from 5 feet to 3.5, like that, so
We're
I.
saying we've been here since 2002, it's significant.
Yeah, we did depth silt measurements on paddle boat and also on the main lake, and we think we've lost between 7 and 14 feet of depth in the waters, and that's consistent all across Kansas, all of the farmlands washing into the ponds. Like that.
For clarification, we prefer it not to be called Party Cove.
You have,
I thought that was the other cove.
No, that's ours.
It's yours?
Yeah, right
Nice.
across the,
well, you gotta put up a statue, I guess, if you want a different name. So,
Doug, I have a question.
yeah,
The 10-acre spillway, we have a lot of vegetation down in there. To me, it's too dangerous for me to send someone down with a weed eater because of how the rock is not in there very well. Any ideas on that? Thoughts?
no, we haven't walked it yet,
Okay.
and
Don't walk down in there
okay.
because the
I-
rocks are not in there safely.
That's why I'm kind of holding when
Right.
we allocate funds for spillways, we've got to include those because we're gonna need some heavy equipment
Okay.
or experienced people in
Okay.
it, whatever. They're in bad shape, I'll give you, and I think that's an excellent point about, we're trying to prevent silt wash into the lakes. Bow hunt, we did. We are looking at trying to develop a bait fish stocking plan. We talked to the fisheries, and they said if you put whatever you could afford into this lake, it would immediately get eaten. And part of that is because of the quantity of hybrid striped bass that were stocked in 2019. They are now of mature size. A lot of people don't keep them and take them out of the lake because they don't eat that well. And while they're fun to catch, if you put them back in, they're just eating all of our fish. I noticed a huge drop off in our fry hatch, those small little fish last year to this year. They're just not there, so we need to develop some plans. We can buy flathead minnows and we'll expend all the funds we have, or we can try to grow our own. They spawn every 28 days. And so we're looking at some available ponds to be able to develop our own bait fish program and then seine them and move them to the lake. A lot of work to go on that. Dock numbers, all the old dock numbers are out. My apologies for taking a year to do that, but I lost a finger in the process, or I didn't lose the finger, I just couldn't get in the water for a year. And those are now out. We are offering the 100 non-compliant docks on the main lake the opportunity to have the sign made for you. $20, we'll make the sign, pick it up in the office. We've had one person ask for that. I know that you're on the list over there.
Just nailed it onto the dock.
Oh, okay, great. All right, great. So you got it. Okay, so that process is working. We thank Dennis for making the signs. Yes?
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if this falls within your realm, but question I had asked to me, the weeds, the white round with the several little flowers on it.
Yeah.
Is that Queen Anne's lace or is that hemlock?
I don't know on that one. I'm more concerned about the thistle we're trying to get out of there. But,
This is growing everywhere. and-
yeah, it's natural. We haven't planted anything. Evergy does that this fall,
Okay.
so we haven't put anything in that isn't natural, but I don't
Well,
know
it could
which
be
one it
highly,
is.
it's considered highly toxic is my reasoning behind it. I don't know if we're doing
Eat
anything
or to
just to be
be
around.
around. Okay, that's great. So, the sequence there is that we've identified the 5 aquatic plants we have in the lake. We're trying to work with the Facebook page to post good pictures of those so you can help identify them as well. We've identified the 7 species of fish that we have in our lake. We'll do the same thing with the fish. I suppose the next thing is the hazardous plants out there. Thistles, big on the list. We'll try to add this one and do some research for it, but we'll try to use the Facebook page to communicate that. Thanks for passing that on. And part of that, all of that is under our watershed, wildlife, and water quality planning. Leanne Johnson did really well in developing all the contacts with the state and the county to get those programs going. So we have a process of designing what's the right design for a culvert, a spillway, a stream bed, an inlet to the lake, all of that, working with the best import we have. And then it's creating a priority list of where, if you look at our structure versus that best design, where are we lacking and what's the priority to go do it? And that's why stopping erosion, silting into the lake is the highest priority. So we're trying to work both smart and with priority given our resources and budget. So that's what last thing is that we've now seen a fox that either is losing its coat or has the mange. We have the treatment again, so if you're aware of a fox visiting your property, reach out to Leanne Johnson and she'll get you the medication. It's a procedure where you're essentially feeding it a ground beef ball, and if they come back to get another ball, then you put the medicine in that one and create that sequence. They need 3 doses to be able to cure the mange. And it's a very inexact process, but that's the best one that works. So anyway, that's what we know.
So are you gonna, Doug?
Yeah.
The next thing on the list is the real estate committee. Greg's not here.
Okay, that's fine. Greg reached out to me and said, hey, would you do the report? He and I have been meeting with Chris Kurtz of Woodworth Snow. The board has signed an engagement letter with them for him to handle liens, foreclosures, and quit claim deeds going forward. He's not involved in the current litigation. And we are expecting to kick that process off this summer. As was noted, delinquency notices are going out, and we're looking at ways that we can take the templates they provide to automate those so that we can get them out in a timely manner. I think that's it.
Okay, we're moving on to agenda items. The first one is repairs and deferred maintenance. This is quite a lengthy list. I'm not gonna read it all to you. I'm just gonna interject on a couple of subjects. You're welcome to read it, and I'm asking that if y'all could just write your questions down, ask in open forum, so we can get through this list as quickly as possible. So community center is on hold, pending finances, money. Mailbox shelter, Wayne addressed that. Should be starting here in the next couple weeks. Paid for the office guard check and mailbox shelter. I've got a team of 5 people helping me look at colors and giving ideas and suggestions of what they'd like to see. Everything painted here. That's gonna include the cabins, that'll include the interior, the bathhouses. We're gonna try to keep the exteriors as cohesive as possible on the main buildings. Motion detector solar lights at the boat ramp, beach, pool, putt-putt. We've purchased 12 of those, they're ready to be installed. We're hoping to get that done in the next couple of weeks as well. Bathhouse fans, we've spent $1,515. We have 9 pending install. We've put some vents in already in bathhouse 2, but we're gonna actually have motorized or powered to suck out that humidity and the moisture in the rooms, and bathhouses. Cabin update is to be determined. Road update, they are slowly working on some of the roads as far as blading, so hopefully they'll get to your road sometime in the next 30 to 60 days. I don't know that we have decided where we're gonna be, or if we're gonna be putting any money into roads this year. If we come across something that's really bad, we will discuss it, and we'll go from there and make a decision whether we're gonna wanna put the money out this year or next year for the roads. Concrete on the gate loop, Pam discussed. Repairs and drainage of the clubhouse pool parking lot, I'm removing that, that was completed. Security locks, we discussed last meeting, that's to be determined still. Boat rack, ramp, dock, Joe Falco is working on that, and we are hoping the $7,000 estimate is maybe $1,000 too high, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how it all pans out when it's all done, and they're using the salvage material from the old dock to make pedestrian bridges on the disc golf course.
Do you need any of that for the pro shop porch?
What we need, it's gonna be the dock.
Yeah, I'd say some, because the idea with the clubhouse or the deer trace is between the spikes going on, what I was informed of golfers.
So we take what's there and turn it over.
Exactly.
We've got a pretty good side on the back side.
Yeah, it's got a great side, I mean, it's
Fit
almost,
into
it almost
already
looks
weathered
new.
wood.
And then we're gonna plan on using,
And the other side of that is that, I mean, lot of surface area there. If we needed some platforms for the beach, should we consider that as well?
Platforms for the beach.
Well, just a wood deck, 4 foot wide,
Oh.
4 foot square, just someplace
Yeah.
to set stuff
And I would
that's
say
not
we're gonna
ground.
wanna try to keep as much of that material as we can, and hopefully there's someplace up at the
Yeah.
maintenance shed we can store it at, that we can always go to it as projects
Okay, so
continue.
the plan was to pull it all, put it on the trailer, and then where it goes from there is the next thing.
Maintenance.
I think Mike and I are gonna take the walkway straight to the disc golf course.
Excellent.
They will wash in a heavy rain and have to be replaced. We're not gonna put them in so that they'll be broken in a heavy rain, they're just gonna wash.
Okay. Riprap at specific locations around the lake, that's being done by Lake and Wildlife Committee. You can hook up with Pam on that as far as, maintenance as equipment and where you wanna go with that. The RV and the contractor storage lot, we've received bids. It looks like we have a news bid coming in at $26,000 for the gravel for both lots. And then $100 estimate for the cameras. We are going to make a decision, on the contractors and storage lot, what our next step's gonna be. Clubhouse, we've secured the deck. Materials for that was $1,130. And there'll be about $400 more. But some of this material was not used here, and it was taken down to be used at the pro shop.
So if you guys would go down by the pro shop, if you look up underneath there, there's 2x12s and stuff on runners that we're gonna use to redo the ledger, the outside rim boards, and replace the top rails on the pro shop deck.
Sand volleyball, it was a $700 estimate for the sand and the net. That was inaccurate. It actually cost us $1,000 for that sand that we put down there. Tennis court, they have not replaced or repainted the lines and filled in the crack yet. Beach, underlayment was about $400. I'll be spending additional $200 to get another roll of it, so we have enough of the underlayment. We've got 4 loads of gravel that was delivered. That was about $4,000. We are estimating we're probably gonna need another 2 more loads. Sand. What did I say, gravel?
Gravel.
Sand. Again, Sean Boyd, thank you for offering to get bids on the remodel. Phones in the office, we're working with Peoples, the end of this month sometime, or the 1st of August, to see if we can update the current phone system with what we have, so that we can get one central location and then to answer, and then have them branch out to other buildings in the community. Pam's working on new signage for Lake and Wildlife and a campground house. Aeration system for paddle boat, that is in the Lake and Water Committee's budget. But everyone needs to understand, if you don't pay for your stickers, that's money that's not going toward Lake and Wildlife. So we ask everybody to pay for your stickers, as that's what's
Yeah,
keeping.
we're down to $2,000 over last year.
And I know people say, if you're not enforcing it, why should we pay for it? But that's just like saying somebody left their bike out on the sidewalk in front of their house and nobody was watching it, so I'm gonna steal it. You know, it would be nice if everybody could pay to help Lake and Wildlife out, so that we can get a lot of these issues that are happening, you know, fixed up. Clubhouse pool, I know this has been a great source of debate in the community. I did speak with somebody on July 3rd that came out and gave us a bid to remodel. That was to pour new coping, put up tile, and add a 20 by 20 zero entry. We have appointments with quite a few other people. We're looking at the updating compared to putting a new pool in. How long is the update gonna last? Can we keep it to right around $100,000? If the pool lasts 5 more years, can we then spend the next 5 years saving money rather than having to finance that money for a pool? There's a lot of unknowns right now, but it's something that we are working on. Kim Hirsch is in the pool industry business, so she's been sending me to different people that do a combination of new pools or fixed pools. The bid that I have here for $310,000. Biggest chunk of that money is for the zero entry edition. It'd be nice to have it, but do we want to spend a third or a quarter of what a new pool would cost? If we could, fix everything up, get it looking good, get the bottom cleaned up, patched up for $100,000, new tile, new coping, that's probably the route or the direction that we'd like to go. If anybody has any comments or questions on the swimming pool situation, please send an email to us. We're happy to, take into consideration what you have to say. Suggestions are helpful. We obviously can't think of everything. If you guys have another idea of what we could do, other than we don't really want to fill it in and make a rose garden out of it, we'd really like to
Community
keep it open and have it available here for the community. I know I use it, not everybody uses it, but that's kind of like the golf course. I don't use the golf course, but I still like seeing it there as an amenity. It gives our community a lot of value. There's been a lot of topic of where's our money going. I hope this, gave you a good idea of where our money is going. Also, upcoming payments we've got. The road project from 2023, we've got a $27,000 payment to them. Road project 2016, a $48,000 payment. Insurance renewal estimate for September through December. This is just an estimate because we're still working on getting the insurance, but we're figuring those 4 months is gonna cost us about $100,000. Electrical hookup for the golf course irrigation system is coming up. That's $15,000. The irrigation payment is $30,000, and then we also have a high service water pump for the water plant, which unfortunately we're close to having the water plant decommissioned, but we have to have the pump. We're trying to find out if we've got somebody that can fix it. If not, to replace it's gonna be right around $12,000.
Am I correct in, was it the previous board that purchased this new irrigation system or?
No,
Okay,
that was this board.
okay.
And I'll explain that again, just for clarity. The options were to continue to repair the irrigation pump for $40,000 a year, or to purchase all new equipment and pay $25,000 a year for all new equipment. So that is why the board chose to get the new equipment for the golf courses, because, to keep spending $40,000 on something that eventually is probably not good. I mean, I don't know that it was worth spending $40,000 on it as it was, but to keep spending $40,000 a year when we could be paying 25, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. But if you have questions, you're welcome to ask them, and we'll try to answer them for you. The city we met with the city. We meet the Monday after the POA meeting, so we'll be coming up again this next Monday. We discussed the city ordinance regarding the RVs on the build lots. Water project, which I don't know that we know a whole lot more on that. And then we discussed container homes, and the city at the last meeting did not approve moving forward with container homes. So there will be no container homes at this time in Lynn Valley Lakes. Past due assessments, as Dennis said, we retained a real estate attorney that's gonna be directing us on filing liens on properties that have past due assessments. We have a member request that wants to hold an adult fishing tournament on the main lake. He is handling it all. His name is Brett Delish. And he has requested to hold the tournament. He's a volunteer. He's doing it on his own accord. We have told him if he is going to do this, they must be a Lynn Valley Lake property owner must be the boater with a current boat registration. All the other rules to this little fishing tournament is all on him. It's everything, he's planned it all. We've just said, that's fine. You can use the lake to fish because that's what it's there for.
Does he have to have the insurance? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
all property owners.
They're supposed to be, the boaters.
boats are property
Yes.
owner owned.
So, know, this kinda goes back to the whole,
And they
Bingo
did
thing.
have to have insurance on the boat to get a sticker.
Right.
So they do, they do have
but
that.
this kinda all goes back to the bingo thing. Where do you draw the line? Who needs insurance? Who doesn't need insurance? It's a tough call for us to make, therefore, we have to go to our attorney and say, how do we navigate this without saying you can't do it? Gate guard, we are working on that. I have a meeting with Pam and Brenda. We're going to be discussing having a gate guard from 9 to 5, and from 5 to 10 on weeknights, and then Friday and Saturday, 5 to 11. What our plan is to move the ice machine over there so that everybody can get ice for longer periods during the day. Put the putt-putt clubs in there. I understand we may have some horseshoes we may be able to put in there. We've got bases we can put in there, so, you can go to the gate guard, get what you need, check it out, use it, hopefully to promote people to use more of our amenities. So, it's your turn. Anybody want to ask any questions or have any comments on anything that I went over? Tina,
I have a question about the side-by-sides.
can you guys come up and talk in the microphone? Not really.
I have a question about all the side-by-sides and golf carts that come in here, like on holiday weekends, no stickers, no insurance, I'm pretty sure. How do we deal with that?
When you say come in here,
Well, they came in by the droves for the 4th of July.
You're saying
On a trailer.
trailer. Oh.
Well,
See-
None of them had
if you look at the
stickers on
comment by
them.
the guy at the parade, whoever that was that commented on the parade,
Yes.
and he said 75% of the
Wow.
ATVs were not stickered. I think that's.
I think that's an issue we're gonna have to deal with the city on, because we don't have an enforcement arm, so we're gonna have to work with the city to have the city
Right
enforce.
now, the city will not.
And I know right now the city,
Should we
the city will
have
not.
someone on holiday weekends at the gate that says
But-
you're not
Right.
coming in?
Hang on. If it comes in on a trailer, I can bring that in and put it in my building.
Exactly.
I'm not saying, that's not saying that I'm not going to get a sticker, cause I can't. So I mean, it's hard as the gate can't decide what
My
their
thoughts-
intention is.
My thoughts were, sell them a sticker, $20, you
Yeah,
wanna bring
but
it
you-
in.
But they'd have to show you proof of insurance at that point, if they could do that.
Or they can come in. When we brought our boat in, we had to bring the insurance in. We stopped outside the parking lot and
But-
come in the office
But-
and
but-
got,
But a lot of people have, I mean, I had a neighbor that had a boat that didn't have a sticker, but he never used it on water here. He stored his boat on his property, but he only used it other places. So he's like, I'm not getting a sticker because I'm never using it on the water here. And the same with somebody that might, and I'm not saying most of them that came in, I agree with you, they were going on the road here. But somebody could bring it in and put it in their building to work on it or whatever, but it wasn't gonna be here.
well, at least they had a property owner,
Yeah.
proof.
So, the other thing on golf carts is it could be somebody, because I don't think we require a golf cart sticker if it's only on the golf course. So if they weren't taking it on the roads, I mean, it gets into a tough area, but I think the ultimate goal is to work with the city so that the city eventually will enforce that, as they used to before they repealed that, city resolution. So I think that's our goal.
Well, I
is
just
to-
know somebody on Facebook invited all their friends, bring their ATVs and golf
Yeah.
carts, come and have fun.
Right. That's absolutely, that's the problem, is.
And what
is-
about insurance? What if they
Right,
hurt somebody
right,
and-
because we don't have any way that we're
They were
allowing them.
trespassing, they could be ticketed for trespassing.
They could, if the city would.
Well, I think we can ask the city to ticket them.
Right, I think that's
For
where we just need to work with the
yes.
city to resolve that problem of
We
enforcement.
need to remind our members also that, this isn't a free-for-all. You have to be a member here to put your
Toys.
toys out on our
Right.
property.
Everybody wants to come here. I saw
Well, and
that.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, because a lot of the golf carts and the side-by-sides that were in the parade were property owners and/or residents of Lynn Valley Lakes. So,
A lot of
we just
friends.
can't say they came through the gate because they're here 24/7.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have a neighbor that doesn't wanna sticker their things, just explain to them, this is part of, I
It's-
mean, nobody likes the fees. I don't like them, I pay them. You know, it's this rule that we, or one of the boards, you know.
And it's a way of
agreed to.
ensuring that vehicles are insured.
Right.
Because if somebody runs into, whatever and they're not insured,
Well, that they're insured and they belong here. It's
Yeah.
Well,
kind of a,
it's a moot point, in truth, it's a moot point, because if you don't have a way to enforce, everybody here has point blank said, for the most part, they're not doing it. I've seen a lot of those comments.
So-
And they're not gonna do a sticker next year, because you can't enforce it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I know your approach is exactly, we gotta get something, we gotta get the city to do something.
we have to figure out a way to enforce it.
If they're not, they might as well stop printing the stickers, because people aren't gonna buy them.
Sell them a sticker on the way in the gate.
But if they say, no, I'm not doing it,
Well, you can't bring your thing in then.
how do you enforce that? Are you willing to carry, a sidearm?
Well, I think for the most part, some of them will, some of them
Well,
won't.
no, absolutely, some people would be compliant, but if they chose not to, that's our problem, is the city has an enforcement arm, we do not. Yes, sir.
I say try to sell the ticket, the sticker ticket, and if they don't wanna do the insurance, then they gotta sign a waiver.
Well-
Have all the responsibility.
But it's not
Well,
their
but
waiver,
it's not, but
it's
it's the liability insurance that we're concerned, I mean, if they hit something, you know, they,
But you're not gaining anything if you don't sell the sticker.
Yeah.
So the insurance still falls on the person driving it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Right.
kind of one of those deals.
Yeah.
I say grab whatever you can,
Yeah, make the money.
you know, take the money, and if they don't, have them sign a waiver saying,
but
hey.
for me, I would be personally more concerned about the insurance than I am the $20 or $25.
I understand, but you're not getting anything.
Right,
You're not
right.
getting away with it,
Right.
so.
But this is, yeah, no,
Maybe there's a participation guest fee on those days, you know, where you actually,
I don't know. But, well, we'll have to.
What happened to
And-
the
and maybe-
stickers they used to put in the vehicles? You know, everybody had to have a sticker on their window. What happened to that?
well, that's, I mean, there's just so many things to discuss. It's one of the things we're gonna discuss, but it's just not really a priority as long as we're trying to get things fixed here. That's,
What is the stipulation with the city? Does anybody know this about if we determine was code enforcement, what extent can code enforcement go to, what am I saying? Back up the citations and stuff as far as whether it's the trash in the yard or whether it's no weeds or no
it's
stickers.
just like any other city, if he comes out and he writes up a violation, or if he comes out and gives you a 10-day notice, you have 10 days and they'll fine you, or they'll fine you. And then that goes to the court. I mean,
But that's a
it's
city
fine,
and a
it's
court
city.
matter.
Okay.
Whereas that's kind of where city and POA sometimes, it's hard to differentiate who is responsible for what. Anybody else have any other comments, concerns, questions?
I have one. There's a Facebook post with a gate code on it for this weekend, and I guess my request would be to contact the person and say, please don't do that.
Yes.
And if
Please
we
don't do
continue
that.
doing it,
It's probably the
it's
house
released,
tour.
cancel it.
Right.
Home tour. They did it last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
If I could speak,
Let's-
if I can speak into that, it is
yeah.
just,
Oh,
it
you are
is
here.
a very limited, I mean, it's limited for today in this,
Saturday.
for today, for the tour from 10 to 2 for open house,
So somebody will shut that code off at 2
That code,
o'clock.
I called the office.
Okay, how does the code get shut off when the office closes at noon? Sorry to put that out there, but
So that means it's on until Monday.
It's probably on
So
till
I'm
Monday.
sitting out on lake patrol fighting, why are you on our lake? Well, gate was open. And I had a guy come to my house yesterday, he said, well, I saw an ad for a recliner, isn't it here? And I said, no, it's at the other 234 Lynn Valley something or other, like that. And he said, well, am I in the right community? I mean, he obviously had no knowledge of what we were or anything else or how to drive around, but
well, there's no gate up right now, right? Like,
the,
I drove in without it.
the gate got hit last night at 12:46 a.m. by a side-by-side that tailgated in behind a, car. The police have been notified. I do not know who it was. There was 4 people in the side-by-side, that's all I can tell you. That's what I was dealing with before I came here.
What was the
And-
sticker number on the side? Oh, wait. never
Oh,
mind.
darn, it didn't have a sticker, Dennis. And, then, even though my phone's being used for recording this meeting, I did see that the office staff reached out to me that it's been knocked off again since, so. I get to deal with it after
Okay,
I
and
leave
and
here.
so,
I came in right before
for
9
those
a.m.,
of you who don't think a gate guard would be beneficial, at 2:46 or 12:46 this morning, no, the gate guard would not have been beneficial. However, 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, chances are probably pretty good that arm would not have been
Okay.
busted off or it would be
Wednes-
fixed.
Wednesday,
The issue of not thinking that the guard is important, I think it's the hours.
Right, and we're
Later.
working on that, so.
so
hopefully-
Wednesday, Tina, what was there, 5 employees standing out there? And a lady pulled up to the gate. I don't even know if she reached her arm out to
She did,
swipe her
but-
card.
She thought she did.
And we all yelled at her to stop, stop. Right,
Yeah.
right through.
Oh.
She got a $50 thank you, cause that's what she
Yeah.
got to pay the POA.
We need to make this painful. These people that come through here and knock this gate off like that.
But
I mean, can we not make that like $500?
I'm in agreement with you, Kevin.
I think if it's,
We,
if it's an accident,
No,
like
I
maybe
get
it's, I don't think it's as bad as if it's somebody who,
blatantly like the side by
Is that
side last
correct?
night.
12:45 at night.
What is the
I mean, make it
repercussions?
hurt.
If the police can get in contact with them, they're told to get with the POA office to, if it's during the day, between, I believe it's 8 and 3, it's $50. Any other time, it's $200.
Yeah, but is it an accidental or deliberate? That's my point.
Yeah.
Most of the
You
time
know what?
they
If
are
it-
accidental.
If you're tailgating in because you're.
that's a $500, it should be a
Yeah,
$500
But you know what,
fine.
if you're pulling up to that gate, you should be able to see that gate. I know Tina keeps saying we need to put balloons or something
Well,
in
because
it, but
these
it's like,
no trucks
no.
are up
No,
here, they can't
with my
see it.
pickup, I have to pull literally to where I'm almost touching it before my remote will open. I mean, I'm literally
Right, but
the
you know
front-
the gate's there.
No, I know it's there, but I can't see it.
Yes.
Right.
that's
Well, no,
what
when I have to pull up far enough that I can't see the gate before my remote will open the gate.
That's why you need the app, Dennis.
I have the app, I just wanna make it. I can't control him.
Is there anything else?
Can you?
Yeah, I have the clicker.
Who can raise the fine?
The board can say, you know, it's $100
Is there
during
not
the.
cameras to catch?
There is, there is.
We're trying to do it. $500.
Yeah.
There is if they have a sticker on their side by side.
Side by side doesn't have a, yeah.
Well, it's not just the cost of the gate repair, but now we're letting anybody in that wants to come in during that period of time until it can be repaired. What's the cost of that?
I think maybe putting up signs that say, hey, you
3
know,
minute
we're being monitored and we're kind of taking your
Yeah.
tag. There's a lot of signs that have gone out, like even like Crown Center and stuff, like they get fined and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, even just having a sign, whether it's true or not, kind of deters some.
Right, right.
You
I
said
agree.
$500 fine for.
Right, right. A
tailgating.
$500 fine when you break this gate.
And you're on candy camera.
Yeah, we're recording and it's got a $500 fine.
Basically, you just gotta get the tag and just go after their insurance. Don't even, I mean, you give them an
We'd have
opportunity to
to
do
put it on
right
the
and
agenda,
not
but we should for
chase their
next month.
insurance. I mean, that's why we have insurance.
I've got this on my list. I got it on
I
my
think the
list.
same thing.
But what is in our right?
Yeah, but we're gonna handle it. Yeah.
And I do wanna
You
give,
know how many times it's happened this year, just to year to date?
A lot.
I mean, we could check it, Dan, and see what product, you know, how many people we've charged, but it's more than you.
But there've been some that we haven't been able to figure out who
Figure
it
out.
is too.
Oh.
Well, like the side by side, are we gonna be able to figure out who it is?
I did wanna point this out. Johnny, thank you for following up with me on the clubhouse like we talked.
I'm sorry.
And,
I should have thanked him. Thank
yeah,
you.
and we're gonna check on
Thank you.
shingles and we'll follow up. I'll get with you about that. But I just wanted to
That's
tell you thank
something
you for,
that was not on my list.
Is it the flashing around the
Yes.
chimney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the camera stuff, is the camera just not very good resolution?
Oh, they're great. They can read the time on your watch.
Okay, he wasn't talking.
I ain't got one. Shit, that's pretty.
But a side by side, was it a street, worthy side by side, or, we don't know,
No tag on it.
no tag?
The evening is different. We need to look into a better camera,
They're,
pointing.
And lighting, better,
Yeah.
maybe better lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we got some of the solar lights.
Maybe we get some iPad, get an iPad kit when it gets
smack.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kevin, thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn
I'll
today's
second.
board meeting